Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel on this impromptu live. I know I normally don't go live on the weekends, but I did want to go to show you guys this project that I've been working on since last night. I've kind of been obsessing about it, and yeah, I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. So I want to show you guys how I made this. I did go off the tutorial from, let's see what the channel is. The channel is Stitches by Julia. And she has a tutorial on how to make covers, fabric journal covers using Peltex number 72. However, I only have Peltex number 70. Let me put that video out there so you guys can see it. Hi, Sandra. So I only had, she used Peltex number 72. Now, Peltex is basically, well, this one anyways, is almost like felt. So it's a stabilizer, and it's basically thick felt. So she used Peltex number 72, which is actually like adhesive on both sides. Like you can iron on the adhesive. So it's almost like it's heat and bond, but instead of being just flat paper, it is like felt. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I made these last night following Julia's tutorial, and she has pockets on hers. Hi, Cheryl. She has pockets on hers, and so you can see her tutorial on how to make the pockets on the big ones. I tried to make the pocket on the little one, and it didn't work, so I couldn't get it to work. So these are the ones I made last night. I'm going to be using a couple of different fabrics for the ones I'm doing today, but I thought that this would be a fun project to show you guys. Again, I did follow the tutorial from Stitches by Julia, which I left in the comment, and I'm also going to leave down below in the description box if you're watching this video after it is live. So basically, after I made these big journal covers right here, these are basically a size of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So that's just 8.5, 11 pieces of paper folded in half. That's the size of the big ones. And this size right here is about 4 inches. I don't even know. What is this? I don't even know. Let me get something to measure with. How big are these? Oh my god. Okay, I don't know where my ruler is, so here we are. So this is almost 3 inches by 3.5 inches. So this is going to be really, really tiny journals, and I think I'm going to make about 4 of them. But anyways, so this size right here is basically the leftover from this journal. So this is how long the Peltex is in the package, right? It might even be a little bit longer. So this is the leftovers from me making the big covers. And I was able to make about 4 covers from the Peltex itself, or no, maybe 5. I made 5 of them. A couple of them are duds. So I got 3. Like I mentioned before, I got 3 of them. And you can watch Julia's original video on how to make the pockets and everything. I just did this extra stitching up here. She didn't do this. You guys can see there's like 2 extra lines right here. I just thought that would be nice. So yeah, I suggest you watch her video. So we're going to be making this today. And actually this oatmeal color fabric was actually supposed to be the outside of it, but whatever. So the difference that I've seen between Peltex number 72 and Peltex number 70 is that this is not iron-on. So this has no adhesive. It's basically just felt. So when I read on the back of the instructions, it says, you know, put this between 2 layers of fabric. Oh, it says to back it with Wonder Under or Heavy Duty Wonder Under. And then it says to fuse fabrics. But I just saw put this between 2 fabrics and fuse. And I'm like, okay. So I tried to iron it and it didn't work. There's no adhesive on this. So the way I'm working around it is I'm still following her tutorial. However, I have all these little extra pieces of heat and bond. So I'm like, you know, if this is just double-sided felt basically with adhesive, I could just add adhesive and it would be the same thing. Now, I don't know, and I cannot tell you that it is exactly the same thing. The way that Julia made her project, I'll tell you what, it was a lot easier than how I made my project because she didn't have to do this extra step right here, where I have to basically add adhesive to this Peltex. Hi, everybody. Hi, Safina. I saw her video, and her video was so easy because because she just ironed on the Peltex. However, I got this actually for another project that I saw on Pinterest. And then I watched this video and I'm like, oh, I want to do that instead. So, so here we are. Again, her Peltex was number 72. Mine is Peltex number 70, not adhesive. Hers was adhesive. So what I'm doing is I'm adding adhesive. So let me get my sewing machine. Or actually, let me get my fabrics because I need fabrics for this. So I'm just using just different types of fabrics for the outside cover. And basically what you want to do is you want to give it a nice border. So nice, like almost 1/2 inch border around is what I would say is a good size. I pretty much just rip it. I've been doing that ever since I discovered that you could. Okay. So 1/2 inch border all the way around. And again, this is felt. I think I could just use felt. If I'm already making it sticky myself, I think I could just use felt. So hi, Irene, and hi to Monique. Sorry, Monique. Hi, Monique. Okay, so there's this right here. And then I need my outside fabric, which I don't know if this, okay, this is white enough. Okay, good. And I'm literally just using scraps of fabric here because it's so little. I don't want to cut a whole piece, so I'm just using all my little scraps. Okay. And I'm going to make a couple of these, so if you miss a step, don't worry. I'm going to be making at least 3 more, I think. Okay, so now we have our fabrics. Let's, so that's going to go like that. Those two go together. And let me get my other fabrics that I'm going to do here. And some of these are a little bit different size, which is why I wanted to wait. I'm going to basically measure each one individually because they're all a little bit different because some of them, I don't know, they just weren't even. And so I had to make them even. And so some of them are a little bit smaller. Yeah. So there's that whole reason. So now I got more strips and more strips of. Yeah, it is. It says it's actually Pelon. It's Ultra Firm Sew-In Stabilizer. So this is actually stabilizer, but honestly, I mean, I'm not a chemist. I don't know what this is made of, but it feels like felt. It just feels like felt. So I think I'm going to go back and I'm just going to buy felt. Because Mama's cheap. That's why Mama's cheap. So that's what we're doing. So here's more of my like oatmeal fabric. I also got this fabric at Walmart. This like oatmeal. I was going to say flavored, but you can't taste it. It's delicious. I'm just kidding. So this like oatmeal colored fabric. I'll probably get a couple journal covers out of this. It's almost like canvas. Don't know if it is. I can't remember. I also got this at Walmart. Okay. So I feel like it's the same thing. Hi, Eula. It's just really stiff. I don't know. I think felt is this stiff as well. I think. Okay, so here we go. Let's cut this out. So basically, I think this is the same technique that somebody mentioned the other day. They're like, why don't you just do it inside out? I'm like, what are you talking about? And this feels like my wallet. So I feel like I'm one step away from like making my own wallet here. Okay, so let's cut this out here. And I was up so late last night making this, and I was just like, I need to make it. I made it once, and I made it wrong. Let me show you guys. It's already in the trash. Oh, hold on. Where is it? Okay, here it is. So this is when I discovered, oh, it needs to be, because I added glue on one side, but then I didn't add glue on the other side, and I was like, oh, it does need to be glueable on both sides. So I've learned here. I've learned. Okay, so here's my other cover number 2. That'll go with this one. I'm just kind of adding them. I'm kind of like making little sandwiches here so that way they don't get away from me. Oh, these are for this one right here. And then these ones, I already have them cut out for this other journal. Okay, so I have 2 more to make. Okay. Again, I'm just leaving like a 1/2 inch border around it. It's okay if they're not exactly the same size. Life goes on. There is some felt that is stiffened. Oh, probably. Don't trash it. I see tags. Tags out of this? Maybe I'd have to sew it. I'd have to like actually sew through it because in her tutorial, this is double-sided. And so then she, at the very end, she irons this and it sticks down like this one does over here. Oh, no. I didn't add glue at all. Okay, that was my problem on that. Okay, so now our fabric for this one. Make this even. Okay, this is perfect size. All right, awesome. They don't have to be perfectly the same size, but that is ideal. But it's okay if they're not. So basically, then this was expensive stiffened felt. Basically, that's what it was. Okay, so that's these 2 fabrics. For this one, which goes with, I guess, these. And then we have this last one, which I guess we're going to use this again. And I can never make I have to make like 20 of them. I don't know what it is with me. I can't just make one journal. Like I could have been done with this video in 10 minutes, but I'm not really doing a tutorial because Julia has a great tutorial. This is just, I always do craft with me videos. I'm not the best at tutorials, but I can always tell you what tutorial I used. Hi, Benjamin. Just slip in fusible wedding. I don't know what that is. I think I swear I stood at Walmart for like a good 20 minutes looking at all the different Peltex and Pelon and stabilizers. And the first time I did that, I left because I'm like, I don't know anything about this stuff. I've never used any of this. I don't know what the difference is because none of them said, oh yeah, because everything said it was, what did it say it was? It was webbing. No, it was webbing. Was it webbing or was it some other word now that I can't remember? But nothing said that word. And I was confused. Okay, so here we go. Let's cut this here. Okay, this is the last fabric we have to cut. Now, I'm not making pockets on these, but I tried and it was a little bit difficult with the smaller ones. But like I said, Julia's original tutorial has pockets. So interfacing, that's what it is. Nothing said interfacing. Like everything said stabilizer. Nothing said interfacing. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Okay. But I noticed that Walmart did not have Pellex 72. I know that. I didn't see that. This was the thickest Pellex I could find. Okay. So here is the fabric for this. And I think we have to cut out, yeah, we have to cut out this stuff, the heat and bond. Again, her video does not use heat and bond. She has a fancy Peltex, which I don't have, which is double-sided adhesive, basically stabilizer, which sounds really cool now. It means I'd have to not do the step. Oh, right, I need 2 of them. I forgot I need 2 for both sides. And then I saw the price of the Peltex 72, Peltex 72, and I was just like, no. Just no, I can't. It was too expensive. Okay. 2 pieces of the Heat and Bond, the piece of Peltex, or you could use a freaking felt. Piece of fabric that is 1/2 inch all the way around, and then another one that is 1/2 inch all the way around. So that is what we're looking for. Okay, so now I need my iron. So let me get that. Okay. So we'll need our iron in a couple of steps. The first one that we got to use our iron for is we got to add the Heat and Bond to one side of this. Again, I think you could just use felt. I'm going to go back to Walmart and I'm going to buy felt, I think, this time. So, and this actually, it glues on pretty quick. And if you do it too much, this will shrink and you don't want to do that. So just really quickly glue on the glue. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glue this piece of Peltex with this piece of Heat and Bond here. We are going to glue that onto this part right here in the middle of it as much as you can. Just strings, oh my god. Okay. So now we are going to glue that down to that. Again, I'm not staying there for too long. And we got our other piece of Heat and Bond. And that's going to go on top of there. And then we're going to glue that onto that. Again, just really quickly because this webbing shrinks, I have found. Okay, so then we have that. So let's do that for all of them. Here's its fabric. Here's the next one. Heat and Bond. Not exactly the size. Oops, but that's okay. Again, just really quickly. Don't do too much. I'll glue this one on here. Let it cool down a little bit. Oh my god, it's hot. It's hot. It's hot. Peel off one side and let's stick it down here in the middle. All right, I'm supposed to do it on the other side. The glue's on the other side. Okay. There we go. It's adhered to that. Let's go on to the next one. Okay. Let's do this side. Fabrics. Here's this one. Okay. Turn it around. And this is the same exact way that I did the big ones, except of course the big ones had pockets, so there was an extra step there. Okay. Last one here that we're doing. And I wanted to go live last night to test it out, but I was literally doing this for like 3 hours. Literally, I got one made correctly in 3 hours. That would have been a very boring live, but you know what? Mistakes happen. When you learn a new technique, you have to do it a couple times before you actually learn, you know, how to do it. Okay, so it's cooling down a little bit. This is going on this oatmeal colored fabric here. Center it. And we're going to glue it down. Okay. Okay. So now let me turn off my iron. I don't want to unplug it. I'm just going to turn it off because I don't need it for right now. Okay. So now, let me get some water because I'm thirsty. Okay, so now that we have these, I got my sewing machine. And what we're going to do first is we are going to pin, actually. We're not going to sew yet, now that I remember. Make sure that this part is going to be on the outside. And then the right side of the fabric is going to face out. Because we're going to turn it inside out. So this is how you want to lay it. Right side of the fabric out. So the two right sides facing in. So that's wrong. No. Two inside facing outside. So that's going to be our outside fabric. That's going to be our outside inside, basically. Nope. Face the right way. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Okay, and now I need pins. And I actually don't have a lot of those pins that I need. But I have t-shirt pins. I have t-shirt pins, which I actually use for my lace. And let's put them here so that this doesn't move when I sew it. Okay. Definitely don't need this many. I think she only used like 2 of them, but I'm new at sewing, so I really don't want it to move around, right? So I'm doing the most here. I'm doing the most. I kind of want to stretch it out so it's nice and flat there. Do another one here. Two. I do have some pins. Literally, I have like 4 pins. I've never needed them before. I don't even know why I have them. But I guess I'm lucky. Okay, so I'm only going to pin them on 3 sides because I have to remember we're not sewing this side up here. I forget sometimes, but that's how I try and remind myself. So let's pin the rest of them. Again, the right side of this fabric is going to face out. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because this is going to go on the inside, I think. Did she say... Hang on, I got to check the video. Gosh darn it. I was so sure. Hang on. I was so sure, and now I'm not so sure. Let me watch her video. Hang on. Hang on, just a little pause. Gotta do this sometimes. Okay, so she's putting them together. Okay, here we go. No.
Making sure I don't get into the Peltex at all. And then I'll come back and I'll show you how I turn this. I got my stitching done.
Okay, so she puts the wrong side out. Right? Hang on. Okay, here we go.
I have the inside of my journal now laying on my surface.
The inside of her journal is laying like this.
Up, and I'm going to lay my Peltex.
And the Peltex lays
right
like this.
together, so the Peltex.
Okay, we're back. I did it right. I just wanted to make sure. Is that the right side of that fabric? No, it's not. Okay. Sometimes you gotta go back to these tutorials. Again, this is not a tutorial. This is a craft with me. So this can happen. Daisy, you should turn your pins 45 degrees. You won't damage your needle in case. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I've seen that on some videos. So she said they're facing that way. So then I had it right then. Okay, well, I don't know if I could do that with this project because there's not enough. There's not enough to hold it. Okay. Okay, so I had to check. I do pull out the pins as I go along. So I haven't, well, I did actually, I'm not going to lie, I did actually sew through one time. Okay, we're good. Again, I'm not going to pin one of the sides because then I forget that I don't need to sew that. Okay. And I did this once before I went live. Okay, I did this twice before I went live. One time I did it with a pocket and it just did not, small pocket on this project. Maybe I need specific instructions because it just did not work. The scale did not work. Okay, so she said right hand side fabric, so that's the right side of the fabric facing the inside. Okay, with this on the outside. Okay, I got it. You gotta pick one of the long sides. Really? You're not glued down? It's okay, we're gonna glue it down later. We'll iron it on so it'll be fine. So this right here. Make sure they're all together. Again, she only used like 2 pins, but I don't trust myself like that. So I'm putting 1,000,000 pins. Okay. And I've never pinned stuff, so don't make fun of my pins. Okay. Okay. Last pin here. Okay. And again, yeah, I can't just make one. I have to make 10 of them. I don't know why. That's just how I am. So the right-hand side of the fabric is here. Oops, this right-hand side of the fabric there, facing out with the Peltex facing up. Okay. And now we pin. Oh my gosh, you guys. Learning new techniques. A year ago, I would not have tried this. I'll tell you that right now. I would not have tried this a year ago. So I'm kind of proud of myself that, I got some skills. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't have any skills, you guys. Okay. So one more pin over here. Yeah, maybe my pins, I need to work on my pinning technique. Okay. Last one here. So if you're just new, I am using Peltex number 70 in, was it Sandy's? No, Julia. In Julia's video, she used Peltex style number 72, which is actually adhesive on both sides, but I didn't have that. I have number 70, which is not adhesive. So I had to add adhesive with this heat and bond, which kind of basically makes it the same thing. Okay, right hand side of the fabric here, and the Peltex will face up. Okay. So again, I'm not going to pin one of the long sides because I'll forget that I don't have to sew that yet. I'm seriously one step away from adding a zipper and making this into a wallet. Because I actually ordered a wallet off Etsy. It's a handmade wallet. It's actually a coin purse that I use as my wallet. And I had to buy it off Etsy because I could not find a plain black coin purse anywhere. Just plain black. Just not possible. Everything's got weird fabrics, and I just like plain black. Okay, so here's this. Now we're all done. Okay. So the next step is we are going to sew all around the Peltex. So I'm actually going to start like right here and sew all the way around to about here. So you're supposed to leave like a nice 3-inch gap in here so that we can pull the stuff out. So let me just make sure that my fabric is nice and flat and not stretched or anything like that. Okay, so again, that's why I don't pin one of the sides, so that way I know, I can remember not to sew that whole thing. So I'm just going to use a straight stitch, and I'm just using beige thread, nothing crazy. I forgot to back stitch. Whoops. I'm so not used to back stitching, you guys. Pull out these pins. Okay. Here we go. And you're not sewing on the Peltex, you're sewing around it. So we're not sewing on it. We're sewing around it. Okay, so now on this side, again, I'm going to... Oh, darn it, I just sewed the whole thing. Okay. So when you do this and you sew the whole thing, which I actually didn't. Okay, good. What did I do? No, I didn't sew the whole thing. Okay, good. I left a gap. Okay. So now that we sewed all the way around except for right here, which I actually didn't. I need to sew this. You need to sew the corner, and I'll show you why in a minute. You can't just stop. You actually have to sew a little bit of the corner. Let me do some back stitching on this like I was supposed to. Okay. So now we got this tiny little gap here. And we actually want to do is trim. It's kind of big for size, so we want to cut it down a little bit more. But only on 3 sides. You don't want to cut it down too much on this side. You want to cut it down less, I should say. Okay. This way. Don't get too close because I've cut off stitches. So, yeah, don't get too close. Okay. So on this side, I do want to cut some off, but not as much as I did on the other sides. Just a little bit more on this side. And then I guess we're going to turn it inside out. We need to take the paper off this side of the heat and bond. And actually right here, I think for hers, hi Lori, I think for hers it was a little bit easier because it's all just felt. And this one's like stiffened with glue, as you can see. So what I do is I actually kind of squish it into a ball so that it's not so stiff anymore. So I kind of make it into a little ball here. And then I guess we're going to turn it inside out, which is just the most heart-wrenching thing in the world I have found. Okay. So I got my little bone folder here. I'm actually going to pop out those corners with the bone folder. Just makes it easier. And don't push, don't push too much because I have ripped it. I definitely ripped it a couple times. Not gonna lie at all. And then this side over here. That out too. And then look at this. Like I said, I'm literally one step. I need to add a zipper and then it's a purse. Hi, Joyce. So here is what we have. We have this little, almost like a little coin purse with these extra little flaps here because that's where we didn't sew, right? So we'll fix that in the next step. But yeah, that's this step right here. So let's go on to the next one. And we're going to do the same thing. Let me get these pins out of the way. Because I'm going to hurt myself. Okay. So, here's another one. Okay, use pencil eraser and that poke out corner won't happen. Okay. That poked out corner? What do you mean that poked out corner? Looks pretty good. Let me see. She said to use a pencil eraser. I don't have a pencil eraser. I have pencil. I have pencils, but they don't have erasers. They just have this little jewel. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Amelia. Okay. Again, we are here. I think I'm going to take this off right now because I can't really see where the Peltex is. So, oh yeah, that's why I didn't do that. Because when you take this off, I've done this before. When you take this off, your sewing machine won't actually go because it gets kind of stuck. I forgot about that. Okay, so we are going to sew. Basically we're going to sew all around, except we're going to leave a little hole right here. So I'm actually going to start my sewing over here. And again, this tutorial was originally made by Julia, Stitches by Julia. Let me give you guys the, there's a pack of, here's a pack. There's Julia's tutorial if you guys want to watch it. She'll actually explain stuff to you, whereas I'm just kind of doing it. So you're not actually sewing on the Peltex, on this felt. You're actually sewing around it. Oops. Then I'm just going to do a little bit over here. Right there. We're going to stop and we're going to back stitch. Get all these pins out of the way. Okay, let's do the next one. So we can get this out the way and do the next step. Look at me, right? I know. I've always needed projects like this, you know what I mean, to kind of teach me. That's kind of how I learn. I like to learn off tutorials. And, you know, you kind of follow along and everything. I love that. That's how I learn, definitely. That's how I learn. But I'm learning. I'm not an expert, but I haven't sewn anything anybody has to wear, but I can rock a journal cover, that's for sure now. Okay, then this goes over here. This goes over. Gonna have a hole, right? Make sure I have a hole. Make sure, yep, there's a nice hole. Okay, now back stitch, back stitch. Okay. So let's do, and again, you can see it right there. You see the hole that I leave behind. So all the way around except for right there. I guess this is the same way people make pillows, right? I have to assume because I haven't watched a tutorial on how to make pillows. I have so much fabric, I probably should. Take this off here. Now I want to go out and buy like real pins. Okay, this is the last one. And we're going to leave a gap. That looks good. And back it up. Okay, so they're all now sewn up with this gap here. So let's get these cut out. Again, you want to leave some room. You definitely don't want to cut up against it. I have, and I cut my stitching. I'm like, oh, that's why you don't do that. Okay, that makes sense. Didn't make sense at the time, but okay. This one's got to have a little bit more material. This side right here where the gap is, it's gonna have a little bit more material than the other sides. You can see there. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do with the rest of them. Actually worked really well when I cut off that corner. Okay. It's good there. Okay. Why did I sew this where there was no... That's weird. Hang on, I gotta fix this. Because I kind of sewed this where there was no... one second. Don't know how, but I sewed it a little bit farther than where the actual heat and bond is. I don't know how that happened, but here we are. Okay. Now we fixed it. It's technically fixed. Sometimes there's a way to fix things. Okay. There we go. So now I have these 3 other covers. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing. Take off the Ultra Bond, Ultra Hold, and then we're going to squish it kind of into a ball like this. Again, she didn't do this step. She didn't have to because she used felt that was adhesive. This is not adhesive. I had to add my own adhesive. So it kind of stiffened it up a little bit. So to make it a little bit easier on myself, this is what I do. Now we got to get it inside out now. And here's your cover. There's your cover. I'm just kidding. Okay. And we're all done. Now you just add your pages to your cover and we're all set. Okay. Okay. Back to reality here. Okay, we're just going to pop it out here. It's kind of hard to tell. There's a little corner. There's the other little corner right there. Just that corner. And we are getting this corner right here. Woohoo! Okay. All right. We have successfully turned it inside out. Okay, so next. Oh, I sewed this on the wrong side. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna crush it into a little ball, kind of get this adhesive to be a little bit more manipulative. I literally roll it into a little ball. Okay. It's a little bit more worn in, so let's flip this inside out. Ugh, this is not fun, you guys. Like, this part about putting it inside out is like one of the reasons I'd always seen these types of stuff, you know, like you do it inside out and you pull it around. I'm sure it's a thing, but it was not a thing for me till recently. So this is new to me. Come on now. There we go. Literally have to get in there. Okay. Oh my goodness. That was a struggle there. Struggle is real. Okay. Don't worry about it being wrinkly. It's going to be okay. We're going to fix that. Okay. So there's 3 of them that we got done. And then I got to get this last one done. Got all these little hairs everywhere. Okay. So let's take off the adhesive here. Okay, and then we're going to roll it into a ball. Again, this is not a step included by Julia. She had the fancy Peltex that was actually adhesive. So she didn't have to do all this, but I did. I might have to make the hole a little bit bigger. I don't know. Let's see. It's almost like leather. Okay. Come on now. Come on. It was a tiny bit easier with the big journal. Tiny bit. Not that much, really. Pop out that corner. Okay. It is easier to get the 2 corners that are not over here bunched up from the inside. Okay. Okay. This other side. Okay. Again, this is literally one step away from just being a coin purse. I mean, if I knew how to add a zipper, it could be a coin purse right here. You could also use pecking shears on the sew on the right side instead. Huh. I don't know what pecking shears are. I'll have to look that up. Okay. So there we go. We have all 3 covers done to this step. And now we need to get our sewing machine, actually. Or not our sewing machine, our iron. So let me get my iron. And let me turn this on. I have been making leather traveler's notebooks for years, and that I was lining with felt. In between the felt leather, I was using Peltex 72 stiffener because the leather was thin and floppy. Oh, that's a good idea because I have leather. I actually have leather that I've been wanting to work with. So now I have an excuse. Okay, so what we're going to do basically is here, we have this little hole, right? So we're actually going to tuck this part under here, and we're going to iron right here. This part will just hold on like this, and then we're going to sew that down. So just so you guys know, that's what I'm going to do with these. So I'm going to iron this little part right here, and that's actually going to stick to the heat and bond that's behind here. So that's already stuck. And then again, I kind of fold this part in here, kind of trying to make it even. And then we're also going to iron that part right there. But that's just to keep that straight and down, you know? Okay, now the rest of it I'm going to iron. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to fuse this heat and bond on this side to this side of the fabric. So that's what I'm doing right now. Oops. Again, you don't want to do too much because then it shrinks. I'm telling you, this felt, I don't know if anybody else is having that problem, but that's the issue I'm having, that it kind of shrinks a little bit. So here we go. Here's another one. I'm going to fold the little oatmeal part, the little oatmeal fabric inside, and iron it on to the actual glue on the inside of the fabric there. Then I'm going to fold this, and I'm going to iron that. And then I'm going to iron the whole thing. I do have my iron on high, because this is Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. And the not Ultra Hold, you could do it, you don't have to do it on high. You can do it on low. So there we go. And we got this one. So again, I'm folding in this fabric on the inside very carefully so that I don't freaking burn myself. Very carefully. Okay, now we're going to fold this part in a little bit. This is definitely not a child's project. At least maybe not me, not my child size. Where do you get, Eula, if you could tell me, where do you get your Peltex 72? It's so expensive on Amazon that I need to know where else I can buy it, because it's just too much. It's just way too much. Again, we're going to iron on this little fabric here. And then we're going to iron on the rest of this. And it's going to basically shrink wrap the fabric onto the heat and bond. This is, oh, you use a 40% coupon at Joann's. I'm going to have to do that then, because they didn't even have Peltex 72 at Walmart. Okay, hi, Care. Okay, so here's our cover, right? So now, let me get my my iron away, because I will need it again after the next step, but I don't want to burn myself. So I put it far, far away from me. Okay, so the next step, actually what we're going to do is we need to sew all the way around to secure this side right here that's not sewed. So that's what we're going to do. And then we are going to deal, and then we're going to deal with the iron and folding them in half. So let me get this done first though. So we're back at my sewing machine here, and we're still stitching with the number 1 stitch, and I'm just using default settings. This is going to be the outside of the cover, so I'm only going to do like a, what is that, an half-inch stitch? I think it's, no, it's not half-inch. It's actually like an eighth, quarter inch, I think. It's just the line between that and then this one. So, yeah, here we go. Here we go. Oh, my thread came out, of course. Just as I was about to start. Okay, so hang on. Of course, my thread comes out. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm watching you on 52-inch. Ooh, shish. I'm a star, Mama. I'm a star. I'm on the big screen, Mama. They love me, Mama. They love me. Okay, hang on. Oh my gosh. This is the hardest part. I'll tell you that right now. Is threading your needle. I should have some action-packed music right now. Sorry, I'm not showing you anything on your beautiful screen, Care. I think my needle is gunked up. No, it's not. Yeah, sometimes I put my machine on the side. Okay, there we go. Okay, definitely much easier than learning how to use the automatic threader. Definitely. Okay. Why is it like that? Okay. Okay, now we're good. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to sew all the way around. We are going to sew all the way around. And Julia did hers with rounded corners. But I didn't realize that if I actually just made it a straight, just a box, they actually rounded the corners. And you see how these corners are rounded? They're rounded anyways, but they're not, I started off with a straight piece of paper, so there's that. I don't have to round the corners. So tomorrow I'm going to come back and I'm going to start putting in the pages on these. So that ought to be fun. Daisy, if you stitch a few more rows spaced about ½ inch apart and then you turn and stitch across the other direction, you can make some nice quilting. Okay, so here's this. This looks good so far. So that's already sewed all the way around. And now that part is secure. That part that we didn't actually sew and we glued is actually secured now. So let's do that to this one as well. And again, I'm just using a regular straight stitch on regular settings. I didn't actually change any of the settings for the stitch. Okay. Some back stitching in here and we're all set with this one. Of course, the stitching doesn't have to be perfect. Mine never really is. And you know what? That's okay. That is okay. Come on, here we go. And I didn't want to actually make these mini journals this small, but it's just what was left over from the Peltex, and I didn't want to have it go to waste. So I'm going to have like tag-shaped, tag-sized journals. Oops, that got bunched up there. I don't know why. This got all sorts of bunched up here. We can fix it. We can still save it. And basically this is it. The next step is just to fold them in half and iron them down so that way they stay down. And yeah. That's how you make 4 little junk journals in 1 hour. Well, I haven't made them. I still have to, put them together and everything. More. So this is definitely my first time sewing up anything like this at all. This is some advanced stuff to me. To me, this is very advanced. I don't know, might be easy for you guys, but to me, it's hyper advanced. So last one here. Last one. Here we go, you guys. So that is it. I'm gonna back stitch. Okay. So now I need my iron because we're gonna fold them in half. And I would definitely use an iron. I suggest. I think I'm gonna make them all with this little oatmeal fabric on the outside. Because I did make several with them on the inside. So these are the big ones that I made. Again, if you follow the tutorial by Julia, she'll show you how to add pockets to yours. So that was an extra step that I chose not to do on the small ones. This is my big one. This is my small one. The inspiration, same technique, but I decided to make them a lot smaller. Basically, this is the leftover Peltex from making these journals. They were a lot taller. The Peltex is really tall. So then I'm like, you know what? I can't let these go to waste. I actually have to use these. So let's do little ones, like literally wallet-sized journals. Okay, so the oatmeal is going to go on the outside. I fold it in half, but I don't really make the fold. I make the fold with the iron. These ones are definitely going to be need to like squished in between books or something so that they stay flat. Oops, sorry, I didn't know I wasn't showing. Okay, so there's a little book right there. Maybe a little cover. This one. Again, I make the crease with the iron, not by hand or anything. Okay. Just make sure I iron it on both sides. I don't know, maybe it'll be maybe it'll be better. I don't know. That looks good. I should have done it on the other side too. And of course, you guys know I am going to sew my signatures on here, so that is what I do. But I think you might be able to punch holes. Or Julia actually used, she actually kind of made this like, you know, that style of journal where it's not exactly, you don't sew the signatures on, you can change them out. I can't remember what that's called. I think it has a name. It's like jukebox binding or something like that. Like string binding. You're not actually permanently adhering the pages to the book. Which in my case I will. Okay, so here's the last one. There we go. Midori. Yeah, I like that, like Midori style kind of. I like to sew my signatures on permanently, but if you follow her tutorial, she'll show you how to make it more of a temporary journal where you can refill it almost. Okay, so that is it, you guys. I am finished with these 4 little junk journals. I'm going to have a 5th because I made an extra one to show you guys when I first started. So I'm going to be making 5 little mini junk journals in the next episode. And they're so soft and pliable, but still sturdy. And I don't know if I will use these to make my regular junk journals, because I kind of like books. I kind of like the sturdiness of books. So I think I'll continue to use books. And it's just a lot cheaper to use books to make my junk journals. But for little junk journals, I mean, I can make this like half the size of this one. You know what I mean? And that would be a cool junk journal. I didn't mean to make them this little, but that's just how they turned out. Again, if you join me on the next episode, I'm going to be adding the pages onto these. So that should be fun. If you want to join me tomorrow, I'll be here at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And we'll be adding the pages to these. I think they're just adorable. And if you guys like this technique, you guys don't have Pelon 72, you can still make it with some heat and bond and a little bit of imagination. So again, thank you guys so much. I will see you guys here on the next episode. I'll have her tutorial down below and everything where you guys can check out the original tutorial that I followed. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Well, I can't stop making these little journals. I just wanted to keep going. So thank you guys so much for being here with me. I will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and now I know what I'll be doing. I'll be adding the pages to these little journals. Isn't that adorable? And then I got these big ones to do as well. Awesome technique. Thank you so much to Stitches by Julia for posting up this video on how to do this technique. I want to thank you so much to Pinky. Thank you to Irene, Eula, Cheryl, Li, Pink Rose, Eula, to Safina. Thank you to Monique, Care. Eula was here. Yeah, I already said Lori. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have a good weekend. Bye, you guys.